for the Rutherford County School Board. We will be opening the meeting with a brief moment of silence or prayer and pledge of allegiance to the United States flag. No one is required to participate or be present for any of these, and being in this portion of the meeting is completely voluntary. Mr. Vaughn?
Yep. Let's pray. Father, I just thank you for being able to blessing us by living in the greatest country in the world. Father, I just pray and thankful for the peace that in Israel that's come about. We pray for our president, Lord, as he continues to lead our country, and I just pray for our country and the leadership. I pray for Dr. Sullivan and his staff and all of our schools and the staff that have done so well. And again, I pray for our school board that we do that your will in everything we do in our decisions. And we just thank you and for guide us and direct us. In your son Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you'll take a look at the agenda, let me know if there's any questions or comments. If not, we'll move to the approval of the consent agenda. Any questions or comments there? Yes, Dr. Sullivan.
Just want to point out, we do this every year, but all junior pro basketball runs through Eagleville because the head of Rutherford County Recreation works at Eagleville, so it's easier to run it through one book. So that is why it is all run through Eagleville.
I had to ask that question. I thought, there's 100 referees.
And it's not enough.
Well, and I was thinking, say, how do they all play at Eagle?
Yeah.
You know, they can't all, there's not that many basketball games at Eagle.
We'll move on to Rutherford Proud,
Thursday,
and RCS Strong Staff Awards,
also on Thursday.
We don't know about public comments yet. And then instruction.
Yeah, so this is our 26-27 school calendar. One of the main changes that our teacher and calendar committee voted on was to move back to 12 hours of professional development. And so they had the option with the two real presentations to come back on a Monday before Christmas break, or to add the extra 6 hours, because teachers have to get 30 in-service hours on their own. We built the last couple years 24 into that calendar, so they only have to get 6 on their own. Instead of coming back on, I believe, December 22nd, they voted to go ahead and end on that Friday, which is probably going to make more sense. Parents aren't going to send their kids back on December 22nd for one day after a weekend anyways, and so they're just going to do 12 hours on their own. But this keeps the full week at Thanksgiving. Pretty good calendar, trying to make our 200 days with students, and it also throws it off. You have elections next year, so we always have to make sure we build the election days in. One of the noted changes, we did put 2 of our teacher admin days on Fridays this time. And so it had been about a 10 or 15 year history of not, because you want to make sure your attendance is high on a teacher admin day. But if I trust our staff to be there with students, then I trust them to be professionals. We had a lot of parents' requests to have that on a Friday or a Monday so that they could have a 3-day weekend. So we didn't do it with all 4, we just went with 2 of them to start.
Okay.
Ms. Maxwell,
Yes, Mr. Tidwell.
just testing the waters with that Friday. On the calendar, I had a lot of complaints last year of school going past Memorial Day.
Yep.
Was that a consideration in the committee to, you know, whether that talks about taking the Thanksgiving week? I would always explain to them that we have requirements we have to hit, so you got to give it up somewhere.
Yes.
Was there any discussion on that topic about where it could give and take?
It was, and this year it actually would have ended on May 31st, Memorial Day for 2027, and that would have put us into a pay period in June to come back on June 1st, and we don't ever want to come back in June. We want a full 2 months, June and July. It just sounds a lot better, but you're exactly right. In future years, if August 1st happens to hit on a day that doesn't allow us to get 200 days, and we have a primary and a general election, that's 2 days that we have to take out. And so you either have to get rid of the full week at Thanksgiving, add something, take away at Christmas, or go after Memorial Day. So, great question.
Yes, Ms. Rosales?
I have a question. Do you guys consider the day that everyone takes a day off for the Christmas market?
No, we got to be in school that day. That's a day that is our highest sub day of the year. That's fine. And it still dwindles some. It's dwindling as time goes on, but it's still a large sub day in November. It is.
I know.
No professional development on that.
We do. Yes, we do.
Is the city in compliance with this also?
They have their own calendar, but we share and try to get as close as we can. We can't match identically, but we try to get as close as we can.
Okay.
And you guys do a pretty good job, though,
I was with Dr. Duke today.
matching.
Yep.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, we'll move on to legal.
We have 2 discipline hearings, and so it's asked to pay attention to how they're numbered. The first one, this is a discipline hearing appeal number 25 for the school year 1001. Board's been requested to review a decision of the disciplinary hearing authority and of the director of schools to uphold the zero tolerance of a student from Stewart's Creek High School. Based on review of the DHA's record, the board may A, affirm the decision of the DHA and the director, B, overturn the decision of the DHA and of the director, or C, grant a hearing before the board.
Okay. Number 9, financial.
We got the second one.
Go ahead.
And then we have the discipline hearing appeal number 25-1002. The board's been requested to review a decision of the disciplinary hearing authority and the director of schools to uphold the remandment of a student. So not a zero tolerance, the remandment of a student from Stewart's Creek High School. Based on a review of the DHA's record, the board may A, affirm the decision of the DHA of the director, B, overturn the decision of the DHA and of the director, or C, grant a hearing before the board.
Okay, so they were both from
You're good.
Stewart's Creek. I'm sorry, didn't see that. Number 9, financial matters.
This is a long one, and in the past, we've done each of these amendments separately. Mr. Runyon talked to Finance Department and said it was fine just to go ahead and add them all together. So these are 3 different grants. This amendment increases budgeted fiscal year 25-26 Fund 141 revenue and expenditures to recognize multiple state grants. First grant consists of the carryover money from the Innovative Model Schools grant. This grant's in the 3rd year, and all funds will be used to provide 50% of the salary payment to existing personnel, stipends for PBL works training, and vehicle and equipment purchases for various CTE activities and construction and renovations in CTE buildings and structures at multiple schools. Carryover amount of this grant is $8,889,685. So that's the first one. Our end date is September of next year. September 2026 is when those funds have to be spent. The second grant is the Public School Security Grant. This grant will recognize the fiscal year 25 carryover amount of $14,875 and new fiscal year 26 allocation of $1,049,958 for a total of $1,064,833. The funds will be used to provide new threat assessment, software and licensing, purchase of flip chart, signage, radio equipment for schools, repeaters, FCC license and installs, weapon detection equipment, and resistant film. The last, third, and final grant is the reoccurring fiscal year 25-26 state special education pre-K grant. The fiscal year 26 allocation amount of this grant is $519,488 with no carryover amount from fiscal year 25. The funds will be used for additional education assistant positions to assist in the pre-K classrooms, a compliance specialist, additional training for teachers and EAs, sensory and de-escalation items, and supplies and materials for the IPK classrooms. All these grants have been approved by the Tennessee Department of Education, and none require a local match. And again, that's just, we combine them all into one instead of reading 3 separate amendments to the county commission.
Number 2.
Ms. Maxwell?
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I got a couple questions on the grants. One, the public school security grant, are we, as far as the weapon detection systems, do we have enough everywhere, or are we including, are these just extra?
We do, and part of that is buying some bases so that we can move them. extra batteries, extra little test kits, because as time goes on, things will get lost or damaged. And so we may come back and order a couple more, because we'll have to order 2 or 3 more for the new middle school as well.
So we've kind of hit our baseline.
Yeah, we're definitely at the
upgrade
baseline.
there. Great, that's awesome. As far as the Innovative Model Schools grant, which I love, is this thing going away forever? It's not.
Yes.
No, we don't have any idea if it could come back or not. But that was a state grant.
Yeah, that was Governor Lee's big push. So if the next governor wants to do the same thing, that would be amazing.
That would be great. That would be wonderful. On that note, though, one thing that I've never been a fan of is doing payments on or reoccurring expenses on grants. And you have some, if I missed that right, employees.
Yes.
So if you put them on, I mean, I understand the money has to be spent. Is the idea that we would be spending the money anyways, and so this is a way to kind of offset some cost, or are these new positions that we're hiring with a grant that we're then going to have a recurring cost?
Question. No, these are positions that we added 2 years ago, and every year we are lowering the threshold of what is allowed to be paid. So last year it was 75, this year's 50, next year's 25% of their salary can be paid by the grant. And so part of what we looked at with TISA was to put positions in place to then try to make money. I hate that, sounds bad, but to make additional earnings off of what some of the industry certifications and CTE ADMs that we would get.
Great. Well, this was a fantastic grant. I mean, just amazing. Would love to see it continue further.
Yes, Mr. Long.
How are the weapon detection systems, how they working at ball games and stuff?
As far as I know, good.
That's a good.
One of the biggest things that we have is with our opposing teams, still that communication. Luckily with football, most of them, except for Eagleville, are in county. Basketball will be a bigger challenge, but it's inside, so it's going to be a little bit easier to manage. But you have more out-of-district games with basketball. In case anybody's watching volleyball state tournament we host, we are using weapons detection system and clear bags during the day, so they'll both be enforced.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Next.
All right, next we have a couple school support organizations. Per RCS Board Policy 2.404, only a group of organizations enter into a written cooperative agreement with the board may use the name, mascot, or logo of a school or the school district to solicit or raise money, materials, property, security, services, or other things of value. Tiger Baseball Supports provided all information requested from the board's written cooperative agreement can be recognized as an RCS SSO. It's noted that this SSO has not received an IRS determination letter to be recognized as a 501c3 nonprofit entity that's in compliance with the BOE written cooperative. The IRS letter allows them to open and operate out of their own checking account that's separate from Central Magnet School student activity funds. Until they get this determination letter, the Booster Club will utilize the Central High School student activity funds for all its financial activities and be subject to the BOE financial policies and procedures. Also, the approval is contingent upon the organization providing a detailed financial policy, which they have been notified about. Very standard.
Any questions? Okay, next.
If it's all right, I'll read it if y'all want me to, but next two are exactly the same. The next one is Oakland Middle School's Home Run Club at Oakland Middle School is an RCS school support organization. The exact same thing. They have noted this SSO received an IRS determination letter to be recognized. So because we've received that, they are allowed to open and operate out of a checking account. It's separate from Oakland Middle, so that's the difference there.
Okay.
And then our third one, Eagleville recognition of the Eagleville Structured Classroom and Special Education Fund. At Eagleville is an RCS school support organization, and you will see for this one, it's noted that this SSO received an IRS determination letter as well, so they can operate their own.
Yes, Mr. Wall.
Yeah. Collect funds for that specific, do you want to answer that one? Yeah, you went like this. I was like, all right, Mr. Runyon, you can take it.
Well,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
He's the expert over there.
I was like,
Look,
yeah.
collect the money.
Yeah.
You're supposed to answer these questions.
Yeah.
No, the other two are sports related.
Yeah.
And this one, what does that organization exactly do?
Collect funds to be able to provide more, whether they are materials or playgrounds or any of that for the structured setting classrooms.
I believe it probably helps to go for, especially at the high school level, it helps with
Transportation.
when they have the day prom, the Special Olympics.
Do a lot of it.
Not Special Olympics, but Special Ed prom, that a lot of the schools go all out, rent a limo, and it's a lot of fun.
And Eagleville's unique because they're K-12, so they have students spread across multiple grade bands. And so if you only have one or two at senior level, for example, it's going to be tough to raise the funds they need.
Yeah, I was just trying to get in my head, what
It's
would they
unique.
be?
Yeah, it's unique for sure.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time, these organizations are athletic related.
Yeah.
This is a little
Well,
different
they
twist
have,
to
they
a
have the
nonprofit.
bowling that they do, they have the Special Olympics. Does this help pay for the buses, or
No, we pay for that. It is a
school
fortune.
buses are paid for? Okay.
Pay for it. It's a fortune.
Anyway, thank you
Yep.
for that. I was
It'd
just
be like,
trying to
be like
get
someone
up
in
to
high school
speed.
doing a math booster club, so they all could do it. It's
Right,
unique.
I would understand that.
Yeah, it's unique.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, next.
Siegel High baseball scoreboard replacement. Principal Larry Creasy has requested to replace the existing scoreboard and locate the new one in center field. The cost for this request is $70,000. Will be funded through the baseball booster account at no cost to the board. Siegel High will be required to request permits from the city of Murfreesboro and work with Middle Tennessee Electric for new service in this location. Engineering Construction has reviewed the request and has no objections.
Any questions? Yes, Mr. Vaughn.
If they're gonna put that in center field, is that gonna be a interference with the batter since it's direct in center field?
They've still got their batter's eye out there. They'll be all right. They'll only flash it when they're playing Oakland. That's what they'll keep on. That's it.
Wheels so that when they play certain teams, they can move.
That's the reason you carry a pocket knife so you can cut that cord when it.
Easy.
Not
there.
in our
You gotta
weapons
go to the
detection
metal
system.
detector. No, can't do that. Question.
Yes.
Odd question coming from me, but these scoreboards, $70,000, $100,000, are they covered in our insurance?
They are. That's why they have to go through this application process. And I know,
Even though they pay for it, if something
Yes.
did happen, our insurance would still cover that for them.
which is why they get frustrated. Schools do. Why do I have to get this approved by the board? The board approval
Understand.
requires for insurance coverage.
Perfect.
Next.
Christiana Middle softball scoreboard request. Dr. Kyle Nix and Christiana Middle has been offered the existing Riverdale High School scoreboard. Christiana Middle will be responsible for relocation and installation. The cost for relocation and installation is $3,875, and electrical connection is $250 for materials. Maintenance will provide the labor for the electrical connection. Engineering Construction has reviewed the request and has no objection.
Wonderful. Any questions?
Riverdale baseball never have a scoreboard, they just.
Well,
It's Riverdale softball.
And the baseball team already has one.
yeah,
The Christiana Middle School softball field has switched fields. They used to be right behind the elementary school. Now they're behind the field.
Oh.
So it's a partnership with County Rec as well.
that's nice. Okay, number 11.
The naming of the new middle school. So thank Ms. Darby and her team for working on this name, Poplar Hill Middle School, PHM, mascot the Bobcats, and in colors you'll see primary hunter green and secondary gold. So I think that matches the elementary school as well, correct?
Oh, we're very speedy on getting that done, and we appreciate it. Number 12.
Play On Sports would like to partner with Oakland High School to provide a branded school video portal, school-based event scheduling information and availability, et cetera. And you have the agreement attached in tab 6.
Okay. Next.
Yep, director's update, I will have more on Thursday, but I know that Mr. Lee wanted to talk about Power Hour bus discussion. We'd kind of tabled this portion of do we want it to be for a semester or a year. Ms. Maxwell and I have to sign the contracts, and they're sitting in my office, and we don't have an end date for them because we don't know if they're going to be a semester or a year right now. So before we can give them the contracts, we need to know how long they're for.
So I'm bringing back up an item that was tabled. When we sent out the paperwork this year, it was for the entire year, which helped with continuity of the bus routes, learning the children, learning the routes and that sort of thing. It was determined that was the best way to go for the children. There was some conversation between some contractors and some board members. They felt like it was unfair. They wanted to do it half a year and half a year. The Transportation Department has no opinion. We're waiting on the board to provide direction so that we can, if we're going to do it twice, we'll need to send out things, in November so that we can have new contractors, new contracts, and be able to get everything in place for the second half of the year. If not, then we put in the end date in the contract and we're finished. So that's item number one. I need your direction on. Item number two, this is new this year, and it's really just happened recently. There's been a determination from instruction that they're going to do one middle school power hour, and it's at Rocky Fork Middle. We looked at trying to utilize the bus that is working out of Rocky Fork Elementary to provide the service for the middle school. With the number of the students and the delay, there's a 15-minute difference in when they end. Right now, we're pushing, because we run multiple zones, it takes even though the driver may have smaller numbers, they have a longer bus route. So the time factor becomes effective, and we could not do that. So we're going to need to add a bus for the middle school. The way we've done the power hour is anyone that drives at that school is eligible, and anybody that drives in that area that does not drive an elementary, so this one would be a middle, is allowed to apply. That gives everyone an opportunity that so chooses it. I don't think they can get there. We've got one bus. We're recommending that we just send out notification to the buses that drive at Rocky Fork Middle to get an applicant. If there's multiple applicants, we'll use our wheel to determine who gets it. If there's only one, we'll just give it to that driver because they're going to know the students. It's going to be a smaller route. It's going to be in their area. So that's kind of they're similar but different. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Ms. Maxwell?
Yes, Mr. Tidwell.
On the power hour, as far as the timetable for that, let me start with this, the routes, the amount of routes there are. How many multiple contractors go after each route? Do we usually have 2 or 3 going after each route each time?
It depends on where it's at, but yes. We do have a few oddballs where it's just one, but most of the time there's 2 or 3.
Okay. And the route remains the same on, the first half of the year or the second half of the year. It's going to be the same route. It's just potentially a different person driving it.
Correct.
Okay. And then the last thing is you're saying you want to use the pod for various reasons. You want to use the pod of contractors that are already in that area for this one particular middle school power hour, just because they're more familiar with the schools. It's a smaller route.
There's probably not a contractor that drives a middle school, that does not drive a middle school route that could get there in time to be able to provide the service.
Makes sense. Well, look, I'll say, part of this, when we had this discussion the first time, I think in fairness, if you have multiple people going after the route, splitting it up half of the year and half of the year, I think is more advantageous to letting more people do it. It's the will of the board here, so I'm kind of up in the air on if I'm in the minority on this, it's not the end of the world for me. It just seems to me that that's the more fair way to do it.
Any other discussion? Yes, Ms. Darby.
Mr. Lee, I'm just trying to remember, is there not a potential for route change the second half of the year? Don't we have different students sometimes?
It could be slightly different if we have a student that, picks it up, that moves here, that needs it, or a student that moves out. There's a little bit of change, but not much.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Ms. Maxwell?
Yes, Ms.
When are we supposed to be voting on this? Like you said, you need direction to
I
get
need you to vote Thursday.
Thursday.
That's why I added it, so we'll add it for a vote on
Oh,
it.
for agenda, okay. I don't know where anybody else stand, but I am in agreement with Mr. Tidwell. I feel like, I think that, in my own opinion, that it will be advantageous if we give more others the opportunity to get a bid and make it a little bit fair. So if we want to split it up, and if you get it once, then I don't think you ought to bid again a second time. That's my opinion.
Anybody else? Okay, is there any other? Okay. I do want you to know that we are going to have an executive session following this, which shouldn't take long, but the good news is we're getting out fairly early tonight. So,
Are we in the general discussion now? Okay, great. Dr. Sullivan, I had sent an email to you and Mark Goulian and Dr. Ralston. I had received multiple messages, actually started Saturday evening, from parents who are really concerned with what's happened in the Department of Education, specifically with SPED. One of the concerns is the funding aspect with the IDEA grants. I tried to calm their fears and their anxiousness, in saying that we've been monitoring the situation, we're in track of it, and that for us, the impact wouldn't be that much. It's very minimal. That's what the impression I received. And then the other question is that with the IEPs, there's a deadline that's looming. I think it's December 1st. Is that the deadline when you got to turn in the IEPs on a federal level?
Each student's different. We have to constantly
Okay,
monitor. Yeah.
well, I've gotten a date, so maybe that was for that child. And so how will those be impacted if there's not a personnel in the federal side that can approve those and then still be in compliant with federal law?
No, good question. Federal allocations are a year ahead, and so we received our federal allocations back in August is when they were all released for this current school year. So this current school year will not be impacted. Next year, I think, is all up in the air, but our duty will still be to serve our students with what their needs are. But I think to help ease anybody's fears, anything that government shutdown does not impact really the school system whatsoever. And again, our funding for special education, title, all those were already received through the end of June 30th, 2026.
And can you speak about the IEPs processing?
Yeah, it'll move like normal because our accountability is with us, and then the State Department is still working, and they're the ones who monitor that portion. Now, who the State Department's reporting to, I have absolutely no idea if anyone's there, but our reporting's to the state.
That's great. And I believe they're watching today because they were going to be watching this because that's when I was going to address it and bring it up. So thank you so much for addressing those concerns.
yes, Ms. Sharp.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My resources are saying all of that at the federal level is going to come back to the state level. So if we are funded a year in advance, by the time we roll around to next year, they should be set up to go from there at the state level.
Any other questions? Well, if there's no other general discussion, I will see you all in executive session.